What's up, y'all? It's your boy PC.
And your girl cece.
And today we're going to talk about marriage and
Money.
we know that marriage is a crucial part in any relationship.
Yeah, and we know that finances can either make or break your relationship. Finances is actually one of the number one reason why the divorce rate is so high in the U.S.
Yeah, we have, different topics up to savings, budgeting, investing. It's a wide variety of topics when it comes into the finances between marriages. Paying down debt, paying off loans, mortgages, and different ideas. And, what we notice is that, sometimes coming from different perspectives, we have different ideas on how we should do certain things.
And that's why we wanted to do this video, because trust us, guys, when me and my husband got married, it was definitely for love, but we understood what is getting married. We had to have those conversations about how do you budget, how do you finances, do you believe in having a savings account? Do you have a savings account? Do you have any money in your savings account? What debt do you owe? Because I don't feel like a lot of people take that into consideration, because when you marry for love, like, I'm marrying this person and their baggage. And sometimes people have, 100, 200,000 in student loan debt. And so that person is saying, being that I'm marrying you, I'm going to help you pay that off. And so me and my husband really had to come to the table.
True that. And I would like to say this. I want to have this one section, this to be volume 1 of marriage, or 101, marriage and marriage and money, because I would like to hear your feedback, family out there, so we and expound on it, and as well as our continued journey on marriage and finances, because what we've learned thus far, it's something that you have to continuously work on.
Yes.
It's really a journey. And we'd like you to, we'd like to, journey with you all in building, financial security, legacy, whatever your plans or ideas. Right, for this, exactly, true that. So.
And one thing the first thing we had to do, we really, like I said, we had to come to the table and we did a budget. So I wrote down all of my expenses. My husband wrote down all of his expenses. Yeah. One big expense that I brought into the marriage was my student loans, And it's an uncomfortable conversation, because you'd be like, dang, honey, like, I don't want you to have to pay off my student loans, but this is something that I know, that I had to do, for my education. So my student loans. So when we had that conversation, I feel like you were very great, and you said, no, honey, we're going to pay it off together. And we also had his brother and his wife, they also, were very
Greg and Kia
essential with helping us to, make a budget of our own, and something, realistic that we can look at and see, okay, we can, definitely make this happen. We can pay it off. But one thing we understand that, it takes time, and it takes you wanting to, be very strict. Like, I can't be eating out or going on vacation every weekend. No, because I have to save money to throw at the balances that I owe, so that I can come to a point where I can save.
Yeah, Dave Ramsey has a catch-all phrase that I kind of like it, and where he says that, you have to live like no one until you can live like no one. So, no one really wants to live with that, just so strict bonds on how you can do with your money. But I think that you have to go through those storms and go through that tightness, that fiscal tightness, until you can really, at the end, look and see yourself and be able to really enjoy that money coming in, where it's not going to anybody but in your pockets. And I think that will be a great day when my wife and I are completely debt free, and every dollar that comes into our household comes straight into our pockets, where we can, direct it to investment or direct it into any other way that we like. Speaking on another thing that I got from my brother and others as far as budgeting and paying down debt of course, you know, when you come together in a marriage, you know, we come together as one.
One, right.
So there was no question in my mind if I wanted to just put everything in a ball right here and say, let's work on it. Let's reverse snowball it. You know what I mean? Let's let this thing go in reverse. So when it comes to doing things one, you know, there were different options. You know, having one joint bank account, having two bank accounts, having multiple bank accounts,
having just a savings account where we put the money, or having a checking account where, you know, he bring in money from his paycheck and I, you know, bring in money and we just use that money to pay the bills, or so there was a lot of different options that we considered.
Right.
Y'all, we had some arguments, some knockouts, some blowouts, but and we
still trying to figure it out.
Honey.
But
he's real. We're still trying to figure it out. So don't think that, oh, you're gonna talk once and you know you're gonna come to an agreement. No, you're gonna revisit finances probably daily, weekly. But one thing, like I said, going back to my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, is that they have a budget meeting. Either I think it's every month or every week. Weekly.
So you're watching them nickels and dimes.
They use an Excel spreadsheet, and everything that they spent, they put into this Excel spreadsheet. And so they're able to keep track to know where their money is going. And so that's one thing my husband and I have implemented. We don't do it weekly. I think we do it every 2 weeks. Right. But during that time, our phones are on silent, our phones are cut off, because that's the time that we need to really find out where our money is going, where it's being spent. And
then, you know, in marriages, you have different characteristics. You have spenders, you have savers, and you have those.
I'm the spender, unfortunately. But I can be honest.
Right. So you have to kind of, you know, what I'm learning is having a balance in all of that. You know, being to where you don't feel constricted, to where you're not really enjoying, you know, the fruits of your labor.
Right.
So, you know, having that balance in it is where we're trying to find ourselves right now. I like to invest. I'm learning, so you know it's a growth process. But you know, risk reward, and you know you have to know what you're going to risk and what the reward is, and you know what you're really trying to do. So you know those are some of the things that you know we want to talk about and share with y'all
and I feel like And I feel like one thing is, like, I had to come to the realization, because when me and my husband would have these meetings, it was like mostly me spending, you know. And so I'm like, okay, Sierra, you have a problem when it comes to shopping, you know, because I was looking at my bank account, I'm like, man, compared to my husband's. And it's like, my husband's not going out there shopping at DD, shopping at Raw, shopping, yeah, I'm telling on myself. But, you know, I had to be honest with myself. And so I feel like that's very important, you know, to know who's better at saving and who's better and who's not. You know, although, you know, I pay the bills, but I know that, you know, when it comes to extra money, I need to, you know, shift it over to my husband, because he's good at saving it. He's not gonna go and spend it. Because I feel like sometimes when I'm like, oh, I see a little extra in my bank account, I'm like, oh, maybe I should go buy those heels or buy that purse. But my husband's like, nope, let's put it into savings.
Speaking on that excess cash flow is very important. I think that, you know, any couple or any marriage, you know, we should have, or any even individual should have an emergency fund.
Yes.
And that's something that is preached through many different, you know, financial advisors or whatever. They tell you have an emergency fund prepared for times like COVID or any things that could happen, you know what I mean? And to have the goal is to have from 3 to 6 up to 9 to 12 months of your expense, of your monthly expensive, you know, put in your emergency savings account. So that's something that along with just regular savings is something that we're working on now. And look, you know, and by setting goals and you know, small goals and continue to reach them and attain them, I think I know we're gonna get to where we want to get to. Yeah, because
the average American don't even have $1,000 saved. Yeah, and so when you think about that, like, wait a minute, the average American doesn't have $1,000 in their savings account. Like,
so when
we're
situations
living
happen,
paycheck to paycheck.
yeah, it's a scary situation.
Right.
You just think about it. If you can't bring that money in to take care of your credit card bills or any car notes or your mortgage,
and when you don't have that money, what do you have to do? You have to go and borrow it. And then being that you didn't have the money to pay for whatever and you had to borrow, so now you owe double. So you're pushing yourself more and more in debt because you have to not only pay the one, you have to pay that second bill, and plus you have to pay the interest that the loan company or whoever the finance people are going to charge you for borrowing that money to pay that one bill. So it's very important that we have a savings, because rainy days, y'all, they're going to happen. It's very inevitable. They're going to happen. But being prepared and, like I'm a case manager. And so one thing I work with my clients is about stability, having those savings. Yeah. I said, if you can put away, let's say $10 to $20 out of your paycheck, just a month or a week, but just a month, that's more money than you had when you count up that 12 months, then you're not saving anything. So if you can just start putting little money aside, because most times we're spending it at fast food restaurants, we're going shopping, we're getting our hair, we're getting our nails done. Now, my husband can attest, when we really got strict on our budget and I stopped getting my hair, not my hair, let me stop lying. I stopped getting my nails done, because I would get my nails done, I would get my feet done religiously. That was just one thing I felt like was a part of my self-care regimen. And so I was getting those things done. But I said, no, I can do it myself. I really want to save money.
Or I can do them for you.
Or my husband, he was doing my feet for me. And so, but I said, no, I really want to save money. And when we did that, we was, what was that, $5,000, $6,000?
Yeah, right. Because, just that being able to budget like that and looking at how you're spending your money monthly, you're saying, okay, I spent this, I spent this, I spent that. Really looking at yourself, it kind of holds you accountable.
Yeah.
It kind of puts you accountable, like, man, I spent this and I had this, I could have did this. So looking at it like that, I think helps you with that discipline, and it's something that self-control and discipline is something that I think you grow into. It's a daily process, like I always like to say, it's always room for improvement. So
absolutely,
it ain't like we're there or we've arrived.
No.
It's just continue to figure things out. You're gonna make mistakes.
Absolutely.
But I think one thing that my wife is very good about, and I'm working on, is communication. And I know I have to work better at communicating, when I'm gonna make a certain move or when I want to make a certain move. Because by having that communication, it just put things out in the open. It doesn't make either one party feel like the other's left out or you're just doing everything unilaterally. So that's something that I definitely have to work on, and I'm working on more and more, because I do want my wife to feel like she's a part of everything that I do, and so. But I feel like it's good to have discussions.
That's very big, because when you get married, you're not making a decision just for yourself. You're making a decision for the both of you all. And your decision can affect the both of you all. And so communication is very big, especially when it comes to, like I said, when it comes to that money. Because if you're going to take, let's say, $5,000, $10,000 savings to, do something, please consult your spouse first. Now, some people may have a lot of money saved, and they might not, there might not even scratch a dent in what they have, but still having that communication, having that conversation where it's a mutual thing, I feel like it's very important. And like I said, it goes back, that's the reason why a lot of people marriages are failing, because they're not having those conversations, Yeah,
because I think sometimes that, we go into relationships and we're used to doing things how we want to, when we want to. But, being together with someone, you really, these things, we should discuss and talk about it. And I think that's the best way to do it.
Because they don't teach budgeting in marriage counseling. They don't know. That's one thing that you have to, like I said, you have to come to the table and you have to talk about. And depending on you and your husband's background, you may not have learned that as a child. And so it's an ongoing process of you learning, you know.
Another thing that I want to speak about that I think that we all as a family, everybody needs to continue on educating yourself.
Yes.
You know, it is said that my people suffer for lack of knowledge. And I believe that's a lot of the reasons that we tend to fall behind because of just a small lack of knowledge of how to make that money work for us instead of just working for money. You know, putting money in certain places, you barely get a percentage point on it. But if you can,
in a checking account, savings account, you barely getting 1% back on your money.
So if you can find investments or, you know, safe investments that
CDs,
you're gonna, you know, that you can, you know, expand a little bit more on, you know, certain stocks. There's very many instrument tools that do way better than just a regular bank account. So,
annuities.
So look into these. So look into these things. You know, read, study, listen to. You know, there's many people podcasts on online social media that's speaking on you know how to grow your finances and stuff like that. And I definitely implore those of you to just, you know, get out there and learn more, learn about your IRAs, learn about your 401ks, what's being invested, where is it being invested in? You know, because a lot of times the investment managers, you're just a one little person on the total pole in their whole portfolio. So take control of your finances and, you know, pay attention to what's going on, because, you know, a lot of time it ebbs and flows with the stock market, or just depending on what you're invested in. So, you know, I like to read. I brought a few books down here, not to show off, but I like
trying to show off, y'all.
I like to read and find out what's going on, because I have an investor's heart. So I want to be able to look at an investment and see where I can extract some profit out of it and begin to build a monthly stipend or income for our family.
Right.
So, you know, that was
and one thing that I am considering doing is doing an Excel spreadsheet, guys. And if you are interested, I will only charge $1 for you guys to be able to download it and you can use it. But on the spreadsheet, it's gonna have any expense, you know, any what do you call it, baby? Any income. It's gonna have the income section. It's gonna have a section for you to put down your expenses, a section for you to put down what you already have saved, and all you have to do is input those numbers monthly.
And this is how you calculate net worth. Right,
and that is how you calculate it. So if you're interested in it, please let me know, and like I said, I'll consider doing that for you guys, and it'll only be $1, because again, we're still learning, you know. We're not where we want to be by a long shot, so we want to help you all. So if you have any comments, like my husband said, this is just one-on-one. So we want to come back and do, you know, 102 or 202, however you want to do it. So please leave your comments below. If there's any topics we did not address, or if you need us to elaborate, please let us know. But thank you so much. Make sure you remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that little bell so you'll be reminded of every new video that we drop on this channel.
Yeah.